Okay, so now we're recording. All right. Noah, I'm going to start from the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, Alina's here. Alina, as soon as Alina's logged in, we'll start. And okay, Alina, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead and unmute your mic. Let me know. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to get started. Noah already listened to the first part of this in the other room, but we'll redo it here. Mary, are you on? Mary? Make sure she's on. Okay, well. Mary, if you could unmute your mic and tell me you're here, I don't see you. Mary? She was on a second ago. No, it's not on. Okay. Okay. Can y'all unmute your mics? I don't want to mute it for right now because I need feedback. Would everybody unmute their mic? Let me know if you can see PowerPoint slides in front of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can see it.
Okay. One more second. Mary's trying to log in. We'll get going. We'll just have to wait. I don't know why she's not coming in. Okay. Introducing the Economic Way of Thinking. That is a great title for the first chapter of the book. And that's because this class is a little bit, what I have to do is a little bit harder than what maybe some other classes you've taken here or what you did in government prison day school did to you. In government prison day camp, somebody like me got up in front of you and said some things, and you read from a book, and then they asked you questions and they wanted you to spit back what they had told you. Okay, maybe in your own words or paraphrasing, but take what I told you and say it back to me. And that's called parroting. Okay. Now, that's maybe fine for what they do, but what I'm trying to do is something completely different. I'm not trying to tell you something and then have you say it back to me. Okay? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to actually teach you how to think like an economist. And thinking is hard. Okay? And when you're in government prison day camp, they don't want you to think. Okay? They just want you to say what I said to you, say it back to me. Okay? And thinking can be hard. People don't like to do it. Okay? Now, if I do my job right and you think like an economist, you might hate me after this. Okay? Because when I go into a store, let's say, and I've got 5 kids and I've been buying apple juice for 20 years. Okay? So going to a store and buying apple juice, 100% apple juice from a kid's little half-gallon, container. And when we had our first kid, our first child, it was about 98 cents for one of those half-gallon jugs. Now, if you go to the store to buy that very same jug, it's probably $2, $3, maybe even $4. Okay. Now you have to ask yourself, why did the price of apple juice go up? Is it because the apple juice is better? Mary's here. Is it because the apple juice is better? Did apples suddenly become super apples? Are they better now than they've ever been? And the answer to that question is no. I mean, apples today and apple juice is probably the same as, any other apple juice there. So why is it, why did the price of apples go up? Apple juice go up? Is it because there was a shortage, there was an apple blight over the last 20 years, and there's fewer apples, and more competition, people buying apple juice? None of those things are true. Okay, in fact, I would probably say apple juice demand has dropped over the last several years because people are having fewer children. So why is it that the price of apple juice went up? And that's what I ask myself. Part of the reason is because the value of the dollar has fallen, or what we call its purchasing power, how much you can buy with a dollar. And the reason for that is because the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States has created a huge amount of dollars over the last 20 years. Okay, trillions of dollars they've created over the last 20 years. Okay, that means there are more dollars out there. The supply of goods and services, in this case, apple juice, hasn't increased as fast as the supply of money has. So there's more dollars floating around chasing after roughly the same number of goods. Therefore, you need more dollars to buy the same thing. So that's sort of how you think like an economist. And that's what I'm trying to do. Now, in order to do this, we first have to know what economics is, okay? And we'll find out, in order to know what economics is, you have to know what science is. And in order to know what science is, you have to know a few other things, okay? And I'll tell you a story. When I was a first-year grad student, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, made me go to some foo-foo art exhibit in Birmingham. And it was with the school, so it was like a school trip, and there were a bunch of other people there. And I walk into the museum, and oh my gosh, it's just modern art mostly, right? And if you ask me, modern art is garbage, okay? If you show me a painting, I should be able to look at the painting and know what you painted. I should say, oh, that's a dog, that's a tree, and that is a person, and that's a leash, and the person's walking the dog past the tree. If I look at it and I can't tell what it is, then it's probably not good. In fact, if you ask me, the best kind of art is, you've seen them, those velvet paintings with the dogs on them around the poker table. I look at that painting and I know exactly what's going on. The bulldog has the nuts. It's a poker term. It means the best possible hand, and he's getting ready to clean everybody else's clocks, right? That's, to me, is art. I can understand that. But anyway, the best part of the day was lunch. And everyone is in this room at this big table eating lunch. And there's this young woman sitting across from me, and we strike up a conversation. And I said, oh, what are you doing at Auburn? And she says, oh, I'm getting my PhD in technology. That sounds really hot, doesn't it? Technology, right? A PhD in technology. And I said, wow, that's interesting. Now, as economists, we have a definition of technology. Technology is a plan or a recipe on how to combine resources to produce a good or a service, okay? And I wanted to find out if that was how people who were studying technology designed it. So I looked at her and I asked her and I said, oh, that's very interesting. What is technology? And her jaw drops. And she looks at me and she's got her, she puts her chin in her hand. Then she's got her hand up over her mouth. I don't want to do that because you can't hear me. Then she's got it up over her nose and mouth. Finally, at the end, she's got her hand over her face and she's shaking her head. And she opens her hands up just enough to look out at me and say, I don't have a good definition for you. And she whispers it. Now, if you've been studying something all of your life, all of your adult life, and you can't tell somebody what that is, we have a name for people like that. Fool, idiot, moron, a bunch of others you could think of. And when I heard this, I said, oh my gosh, I didn't know they had special PhD programs. So for the whole rest of the trip, I talked to her really slow. I said, that's a pretty picture. That's blue. Okay. And I felt really bad for her. And when I got back, I swore to myself that I was never going to let my students leave my class without knowing what economics was. So I started to research it, and I went on the internet and I looked in some books. And what I found was that there were different definitions of economics. Okay. And then I asked other students, other grad students. And when I asked them, most of them got mad at me and said, yo, you jerk, shut up. The ones that did answer me, some of them said, I don't know how to define it. But one guy pulled me aside. He was pretty nice. He was trying to help me out. And he looked at me and he goes, look, you're thinking way too deep about this stuff. All I did is I came here with my empty toolbox, and I'm taking these models that they teach us, and they call them tools, right? And I'm putting them in this toolbox, and then I'm going to go out and make money. But I don't worry about that stuff. So then I figured they were all idiots, and I went to my professors, and I asked them, what is economics? Some of them got mad at me and looked at me and said, Yoey, I never liked you anyway, get out. And again, the ones that did give me an answer looked at me and gave me different answers. And I said, economics can't be different things. It's got to be one thing. So I started looking into it, and I found out that what you think economics is based on what you think science is. And then what you think science is, we'll get to it later, but is based on how many different types of things you think the human mind is capable of knowing and that exist. Okay? Some people think it's one thing. We call them nihilists. Some people think there's only two different types of things you can know. We call them positivists. And then some people think there's three different types of things you can know. And those people are friends of Aristotle. Okay? So we're going to look into this so that we know what economics is. And then we're going to become acquainted with the foundation of the economic way of thinking. We'll find out that economists disagree on a lot of stuff, but there are some certain things that we generally all agree on. Okay, and then we're going to go over those things. Now, I think I'm going to let you go. I don't have, I can't see my clock on my computer, but it looks, I think it's time to call the class. So I'm going to give you an assignment. Write this down or type it in somewhere. What I want you to do is go out on the internet, and I want you to give me 3 different definitions of the following 4 terms, okay? So I'll write these terms down if I can. I don't know why, but I can't get out of this. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share on that. I'm going to open up Word. I think I'm going to open up Word. Where is it? Is everybody still here? Can you hear me? Or have I bored you to death and you left?
I'm here. I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I haven't bored. Well, I probably bored you to death, but you haven't left. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So your assignment, you will give me, use the internet. I'll explain to you how to do this. I want definitions for the following 4 terms. And those terms are, I want to know what science means, what economics means, what logic means, and what it means for something to be true. Now, the way you do this, there are certain sites you can use, certain sites you cannot use. Okay? You may go to .edu, .orgs, you may not go to .coms, you may not go to .nets, you may not use online or any other encyclopedias or dictionaries. Dictionaries are a horrible place to get definitions of technical terms. Okay.
Are you sending this out?
I can. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, because I missed half of those.
Oh, I'll go back to it. But you, oh, and also you can go to online journal articles. Okay, and these you can access through the Gadsden State Library's website. Now, the search engines that they use are a little difficult. So most people, I would recommend going to the library and telling them what you're doing, and they will be able to help you get acquainted with the way that those search engines work. And they'll be so happy to see you because nobody reads anymore. So if you go into the library, the librarian will first off, she'll probably stand up and dust will fall off of her and cobwebs because nobody uses them. And then they'll be so happy to see you. They'll probably just die trying to help you, okay? So if you can, and you've never done this before, go to the library and tell them you need to look up online journal articles and come up with definitions for these terms. Now, that one's special because, sorry. Because at least one of the three different definitions must come from an online academic journal. I have a typo there, I'll correct it. Why is it not done? There you go, spelling. Okay. All right. Now, why can't you go to a .com? .com means commercial, basically. Okay, and the people who make these .coms are generally trying to make money. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with making money. I'm a capitalist. Make it all. All right, but anybody can set up a .com or a .net, including some guy who lives in his mother's basement in his underwear eating Cheetos all day watching Oprah, okay? Do we want to get definitions of important terms like science, economics, truth, and logic from a guy sitting there in his underwear eating Cheetos in his mom's basement? No, we don't, okay? So we don't want to go there. We don't want to go to online encyclopedias and dictionaries. Those are horrible places to get definitions, especially of technical or philosophical terms. Now, we do want to go to .edus, but that doesn't mean any .edu, okay? You want to research the site a little bit and make sure that these people are credible, okay? I would generally look at the site, see who's on there, who's writing these things, and look to see if they have letters after their names, like MS or more importantly, PhD, okay? Those letters mean that you have studied something for a prolonged period of time and that you knew enough about it to sit in front of a set of other people, PhDs, who've researched it for a long time and show them that you know enough about this subject to get the degree, okay? So when you go to a .edu, if you pull it up and it's some high school teacher, that's not good, okay? But if you pull it up and it says, hey, these guys have PhDs in philosophy or science or whatever, that's better. You want to look and make sure the site is reputable. .org's, again, the same thing. Just because it says .org doesn't mean that you should use it. Okay, so you look, see a .org, look to see what that institute or what that organization is about, right? How long it's been around, how big it is. Are there people in there that seem to know what they're talking about? Do they have letters after their names? Do they have experience in this field? Okay, those types of things. So don't just say, oh, it says .org, I can take it, right? If you go to science.org and it says, oh, I'm Billy and I'm a, science student here at, and I decided to set up my own organization or something, you might want to be, that might be a little bit sketchy, okay? And then finally, those online academic journals, again, go to the library, talk to the librarian, and they'll show you how to look through them and find this stuff, okay? Now I'm going to save this and send it out to y'all. Does anyone have a question for me?
Do you want us to turn it in through message in Blackboard?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that. Thank you so much. Noah had me before. What I want you to do is do this on a Word file and turn it in, attach it to a Blackboard message and write in the subject definitions, okay? And that's what I'm going to grade. So you'll do it in a Word file, save it to your computer, send it as an attachment to a Blackboard message. Mary, you'll do something a little bit different for right now. And then I want you to print out a copy of it and bring that copy to class, okay? And you'll be using it for the next week or two. All right?
I have the chapter 1, the 2 videos in there. One of them is not showing up, and the other one I took it twice, and it said it's been deleted.
Is this the video quizzes?
Yes, sir.
So is it the second one that's not showing up?
The chapter 1 video quiz is working, but it won't put the grade in. And then the second one isn't showing up at all. Okay,
I can fix that. I'll go into VidGrid, and it keeps track of all the scores. So I'll just transcribe those from the file I get onto Blackboard. And the other one, I think maybe I didn't set it up. I didn't activate it yet, but I'll get that done. I'll do that right after class. Okay, thank you, Noah. I appreciate that. Alina, have you had any problems?
No, sir.
And am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And Jordan, have you had any issues?
Nah, it's been fun. It's been working.
Okay. I apologize. Things have been a little hectic. I had a problem with that MindTap link, and I got on yesterday with the rep, and it should be working fine. Okay, so you'll be able to get into MindTap, and that's where you get in to read chapter 1. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And I'll talk again about this next class, but the way you should take the class is you should read the chapter in the book and do the on the online book and do the section quizzes. Those are 5% of your grade. Then while you're doing that, you should have already printed out the PowerPoints, 3 slides per page while you're reading it. Take any notes that you want from the book onto those PowerPoint slides, kind of find the slide it goes best with. Then attend the lectures. During the lectures, keep those notes with you and take notes. That way you're writing down what I'm saying and not trying to write down what's on the slides because you already have them printed out. After that, if there's any things you have problems with, there's videos and the study guides that'll help you. You don't have to use them. You don't have to do any of this stuff that I've said so far, except read the book and do the section quizzes. But there's things to help you. Pick the ones that work best. Then when you get near the end of a lecture, or you can always work ahead too, by the way. You can always work ahead. But when you think you're ready, take the video quiz. You can take those as many times as you want, and I keep the highest score. And then after you're done with that, you can do, and we're near, you feel ready, you can take the Blackboard quizzes. The Blackboard quizzes, you can take as many times as you want, and I only keep the highest grade. So if you take it 5 times and you got 100 on the 5th try, the 100 is the grade I keep. And then let's say you did that, and then the exam's coming up and you decide you want to study again a little bit for it. You can go back and retake those Blackboard quizzes, and it won't affect your grade. So let's say you got 100 on the 5th try, then when the exam came up, you went back and redid it to see what you still know, and maybe you got an 80. Don't worry about it. The 80 won't take away the 100. The highest score is the one that keeps. Do that. Then do that for every chapter for each exam. And when you're ready, and you get to say the first exam is chapters 1 through 3. So when you're done with chapter 3, go back and review and study for the exam, and then take the exam. The exams are online right now. And if you want to take it early, that's fine. Okay. The exams you can only take once. So make sure you're ready to do it. In some chapters, instead of a video quiz, I have a Aplia assignment, and those are the heavy graphing chapters. For those chapters, you won't have a video exam, but in the chapter folder under course content, say for chapter 26, it'll say no video quiz, do Aplia assignment. Go do the Aplia assignment in MindTap for chapter 26, and when you're done, go back to Blackboard. You can click that little link that says that it's an Aplia assignment, and there's one question on there. It says, did you complete the Aplia assignment? And if you did, hit yes. And that's just so when I'm looking at everybody's grades and I want to know if they're behind or not, I can do it all in one place, and I can look on Blackboard's grade board and I can see that you did the exam, so I don't have to pester you about it, okay? If you have any questions or you need any help, please feel free to contact me. Typically, I would just tell you to come in my office because I like having people come in my office, and I love talking about economics, and I'll sit there and do it forever. Okay, I like doing it. But with this COVID thing, they want us to avoid office visits. I don't care. If you want to come see me, you come see me. If I have to, I'll bring in a foldable table and a couple chairs, and I'll go talk to you out on the sidewalk, okay? But we can go into the computer labs now is what they're telling us, and we can talk to students. So let me know if you need me, if you want me to do that, I'll do that. that's kind of difficult and a bit of a hassle. If you don't want to do that, I can do a Blackboard Collaborate session with you, or I think maybe a Zoom call. This is my Zoom account, so I can do it anywhere. It's my Zoom account. It's not the school's. We can do Zoom meeting or Blackboard Collaborate. I can do a phone call, or if it's something you just need to get by email, we can do it by email. Okay. The best way to contact me if you need something is by email. If you call my office and I don't answer, I'm really bad at answering my phone calls. So just send me an email Monday through Thursday. I'll get right on it. Okay. Thank you all very, very much. And I apologize. And I just noticed I'm 4 minutes over. Okay. Thank you all very much for being patient. Nobody complained. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'll pass you all with flying colors just for being nice people. Okay. Thank you very much and have a great day. I'm closing it now.